Hello there everyone, this is Iron Mark III and welcome back to Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe, where my coal trains are quite happily steaming along. They don't seem to like slopes when they're carrying several hundred tons of coal, but, you know, that's kind of unavoidable at this point. There might actually be something I can do about that. I could always put in a secondary train at the hill. Like, the coal trains unload at a station and then it gets transferred across to a train which is specialised to be able to pull up the hills really quickly. Like, lots of extra engines, so lots of extra power, that kind of thing. Because, let's face it, coal's really flipping heavy. The trains slow down considerably trying to do that. But that would be extra effort. Effort. Yeah. Who puts effort into things? I don't know. Right, so this is another one coming down from the original mines. Bing, 38,000. It is slightly higher, but by the way, inflation is a thing in this game, so prices naturally increase over time. Your train 6 on? Yeah, I think you're the one that's coming from Deningpool. Yep. So I was watching the train right at the start of this part because the train from Deningpool is just coming in. It's crawling up the hill at 21 kilometers per hour because it just can't get any traction. And that is exactly why I installed an additional track. Though unfortunately it didn't leave enough space after this, so this part needs to be updated as well. Still, let's see what the Deningpool line will bring us per run. Show me the money. $38,000. So it's like, well, they're pretty much the same distance, but it's still like almost 1,000 more. Also, I think that train is going to set off well before this one gets back, so we need an additional train on there anyway. So let's clone another one out. Look at that, so easy to do that. OpenTTD has so many quality of life improvements in it, it's not even funny comparing this to more modern games. And as I said in the first part, that's why I use it as the yardstick so much. Right, now then. I've built the lines up here because we've got more coal mines up here, and we've also got more enemy transport company passenger routes up here as well. But another opportunity has presented itself, and we've got the track for it mostly. And the fact is that these two coal mines are located next to a pair of farms. So you see what I'm getting at, right? So I can gather grain and livestock from these places in addition to coal, if I situate the stations correctly. So that means I can add extra load to my transport network without any real increase in outlay. Well, beyond the cost of the trains, obviously. Let's see. I need to... Well, right by this junction here, there is already a factory which takes the livestock and grain. So, I can take the new products from these farms and send it to this particular factory over here, again with relatively low outlay when it comes to hooking it into the network. I could also connect to this farm pretty readily as well, actually. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Admittedly, these lines are not going to be going all that far, so there is still something to be said for all that. But I think I can do it without too much trouble. I just need to expand the number of points. Yeah, the problem is that I'll be taking a large number of goods with multiple trains out of a given area. So I have to be careful to avoid clogging up the station, you know? 4 tracks. I'm not happy with 4 tracks for 3 products because that means 1 spare track. It'll be very easy for that to get clogged up. So I'm thinking maybe a 5-track station would be a good idea. Yeah, a 5-track station would probably be a good idea. That leaves 2 spare tracks for each type of goods that is going to be coming out of here. Then we just need to connect it back into the rest of the network. So, this will be the out. Since this is going to be a relatively high capacity thing, it's going to have a whole bunch of trains running around on it. That means I want the trains to be able to escape as fast as possible, so I'm just installing way too many signals on it. That's absolutely fine. And then I need an intake route as well, which will come in the form of... do I want it to bend this way or that way? Questions. I can easily strap a bridge across here. Notice, by the way, that this is a slightly longer bridge than before. Oh look, road vehicle crash, 33 die in fireball after collision with train. I didn't do that, actually. The AI built that particular road after I built the tracks first, but as you can see, it's still happening. So yeah, 33 passengers just died because one of my trains just ploughed straight through it. So, but yeah, we've got a bigger bridge here, so we can actually use more advanced bridge sections. Let's set it to... Our current trains are capable of about over 112, so I need to use a cantilever bridge. I might as well do cantilever steel of the best type. It's only a few hundred more. So yeah, a nice complex bridge type. And then I'll just connect it straight to there. La-di-da. And of course we've got the input signals, which I think I'll actually split this thing into... yeah, into two inputs. Yeah, two inputs sounds like it'll be nice. That way, trains can try to go into the 5 tracks a bit more smoothly. So I might as well try and increase the throughput a little bit. Though that said, this is a loading station, not an unloading station. So it doesn't particularly need to have all of that. Those are exits, those are the multipurpose, that's the beginning. So this track signal begins here. Then we'll have the in-between sections along here. There we go, so that'll all work. Where am I going to get these trains from? I think it might be time to construct a centralised depot of some sort. Because the trains do fairly regularly need to go into the depots after all. So let's go ahead and install a centralised depot nearby, relatively. And then this will allow servicing of any trains in this general area. At least that's the thought. Through here, yeah. Gotta love 90-degree physics. Though, as I said, there is actually an option to turn that off if you don't want to use that. Yep. And then this will just allow trains to very happily just wander into this and use it because there's two-way signals on either end. They can even use this as a point to turn around if they've wound up going the wrong way on the tracks or something. Quite nicely. Now, what's the output of the mine? Pretty high, actually. Right. I need a new cloned train. You'll do, yes. Your orders are to go to this station here. Delete that order. This time I installed it in a slightly different place, so it's automatically going to that one now. And start you up. I'll also clone you immediately, because I know I'll need 2 trains, so secondary train, you're good to go as well. And that is already starting. So as you can see, it takes them a little bit to wind out the depot. This depot link is it's not very efficient. I've not done a good job building this. But it'll work. And it'll service the area. So that's all I really cared about. Now then, I want to get this place built. Number of tracks 3 by 7. Yeah, I guess that'll do. There, yep. Right, so here's my thought. I'm going to build a 3-track dropping off station, and this station will handle intake resources for this factory, at least for now. And then I'll build a outflow station as well, which will take care of all outbound resources, because this is actually one of the supply chains in this game. There aren't many. They aren't particularly deep. I mean, the deepest is like 3 stages. But they do exist. But this one in particular is only a 2-stage. The 3 stage is also through the factory, by the by. But yeah, this is a 2-stage one. I can take wheat or livestock. They are transported to the factory, which is what I'm currently connecting to. And in turn, they produce goods. And then those goods can be taken to a suitably sized town and sold for additional dosh. Or, since there's an AI active, the AI might decide, that looks tasty, and go ahead and steal it for themselves. So that's also a consideration, because the AI will notice that I'm building... I've got this massive goods supply going on, but there's nothing taking said goods, so they are very likely to try and acquire some of these goods out of my efforts. So this might prompt the AI to create a goods line, simply because there is goods available. Blowing opportunists. Mind you, in multiplayer, humans would tend to do the same. It's like, there's a really good supply chain, or even a supply chain. So there's an excess of goods in this location. Let's go ahead and acquire it for the greater good, of course. For the greater good, as the Tau would say. And they'll transport it to the city quite happily on my behalf. Of course, they'll also pocket the money for doing so, but what can I say? That's what they're like, isn't it? Anyway, let's go ahead and match this up. We got 120 livestock, 104 tons of grain. That's all not too bad. So, we need to build new vehicles. Once again, we will be relying on the good old... Oh, I've built this entire section out of normal track. Oops. Well, the SH125 is the most powerful... Well, it's the fastest one. It's not the best goods train I've actually got access to. The SH series is generally better in terms of good vehicle because they're slightly smaller, while still being very powerful. The SH125 is still the fastest though, at least at this stage. Let's see, livestock van, 25 items, 135, so that's 5 per month. That's actually a really good length livestock train there. If it's livestock as well, which will give me 254 items transport for that's a couple of months loading time. Not too shabby. Full load, and then you will go to here. And yes, I have noticed that train 9 is quite happily wandering off, by the by, because I heard the horn, and I've got the windows up specifically so I can see what they're doing, because I might need to add in an additional one. So let's clone the train 11, get train 12 out here, and then we'll set them both off. So livestock will begin to flow. Now the thing is, we also need grain too. Grain hoppers are a bit bigger. They hold 30 tons each instead of 25, so it would result in a smaller train, which is why I'm being a bit more careful with that. Let's see. That's 8 instead of 10, yeah. 8 should be enough. Refits you to grain. Ooh, I'm actually out of money. I'm earning a lot more, but I'm actually spending it all too. So, refit that train. Full load. Then go to here. Yep. And I borrowed so much so I can clone that one immediately as well, and that gives you train 14 too, which is also one of these livestock ones. Hang on. Too many windows. Give me a second. There we go, train 13's out, train 14 is also out. Right, finances. 82, 216, 83, 377. My funding is rapidly increasing. Also, we're about to have a... our coal train is about to arrive for the first time down at the coal power plant. So, come on, Printing Field, let's see what you've got. How much is this going to fetch? It's a slightly greater distance, actually, so it should be slightly more, I think. However, the route is a bit winding, which will slow the train down a little bit. 26k. Yeah, the extra distance reduced it slightly. Oh look, we've got a new transport company coming in. Excellent. And how is the coal train doing? The coal train is at 80%, so we do need a third one, I think. Yes, clone the coal train. And since I've got the signal set up appropriately, yep, we've got red lights all the way back there. Right, that's shining. Okay, yes. Okay, so what has just happened is we've had a prototype offered to us for the TIM electric engine. Which is actually a bit of a pain because we don't have electric tracks all over the darn place, but still. Okay, anyway, that should take care of the coal situation, so coal should be absolutely fine. And since I've worked out the signals beforehand, it should also be good. Yep, here comes another coal train loading in. I think we might need an extra station actually. But we had a prototype offered to us. The TIM electric engine, which means I need to very quickly rebuild some track, I think. Give me electrified modes, upgrade track. Yes, let's make sure, upgrade it all, make sure all of this is electrified. I love this, by the way. It lets me replace the track type. And since it's an electric train, I would need electric track all the way to its destination. There we go. So, I've got the prototype. I've got exclusive access to it for a year. If I don't build it in that year, then they will not be very happy with me. Quite honestly. That can get coal goods. Coal. It also plugs into that over there, which I don't really want. I need to put it here, I think. Yeah, this should be suitable. So, I've got a year of exclusive access to that engine, but it's going to be very low reliability. Because, you know, it's a prototype, it's here for testing. It's going to break down fairly often. It's going to get rapidly more reliable as the year goes on, but it's still just a prototype. But I've got use of it for a year before anyone else can get it, and that's good. The TIM Electric is a double engine like the SH that I've been using on everything up until this point. Wait, first train arrived? Oh, train 11 made it there. Train 12 is still loading, so I don't need another one. How much did you make? 13,000. So yeah, not about half the profit of our coal trains travelling the distance. But that's okay. What was I saying? Right. So yeah, we've got access to the TIM Electric beforehand. And it's actually quite a bit faster than the SH, which is why I was interested in it immediately. It's a very decent engine, and I think it's one of the last couple of regular train track style engines to come out in the temperate climate. So here we go, right. We've got an electric store. We can actually build one of the last steam engines available, but electric track, we can build the SH30 and 40, which are not as fast as the SH125, but they've got more power on the 40. The 30 is just cheaper. Then we've got the TIM, which has got low reliability right now. Right? It can't be refitted though, so it will carry slightly less than the SH, but it's got 40 km/h more top speed. 40 kilometers per hour, and it's almost twice as powerful. I think it's like 80% more powerful as well. So that's why it is worth it. It is a very strong engine. Oh wait, the grain train has been around? Oops, I missed that as well. Ooh, 14,000 odd. So yeah, the grain train is more profitable than the livestock train, but again, only the two are required here. So there we go. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to end there, of course, because we've just reached the end of this particular part. So I'm going to keep on working out, and we'll roll out the Tims next time. This has been IronMark3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the show, and I'll catch you all later. Yes, indeed.